Su Quan was speechless. Brother Chang, thank you so much for this time. If you need any help in the future, you must come to look me, said Su Yao softly. Sigh, you're welcome. It was the martial sage who saved you, not me. Lu Wuchang retracted his gaze and waved his hand with a smile. But there's indeed something I need your help with. I just don't know if you're willing. With that, Lu Wuchang smiled in embarrassment. What is it? Su Yao became strangely nervous. Marry me. Lu Wuchang stared into Su Yao's eyes seriously and said sincerely, marry me, Yao Yao, I'm willing. Hey, don't leave. Yes or no? Say something. Inna the tree crown. Su Jingxing opened his palm space and took out the cards he had extracted. There were hundreds of members in Gourmand. Among them, almost 100 were in the top ranks. Most of the cards extracted from these people were true essence cards. With cultivation ranging from 1 year to 10 years. Su Jingxing unlocked and absorbed everything, converting them into heaven-trampling true essence. In addition, the true energy cards from the others were also unlocked. They were first converted into heaven-trampling true energy, and finally heaven-trampling true essence. The true energy cards and true essence cards he had previously stored away were also unlocked and absorbed to convert into his true essence cultivation. In the end, his true essence cultivation increased by another 100 years, reaching 300 years. In addition, there were 2 deduction cards, 1 memory card, and 11 skill cards. They were quite important. The 11 skill cards contained either high-level martial arts or secret abilities. After Su Jingxing read the information, he put them all away as backup. Out of the 2 deduction cards, one contained 4 deduction chances, with a 60% success rate each time. The other contained 5 deduction chances, each with an 80% success rate. These 2 people were undoubtedly geniuses. It was easy for them to create their own martial arts, but they took the wrong path. After unlocking the last memory card, Su Jingxing read the information. While he was excited, he also sighed with emotion. Xia Shigai. This memory card came from the silver-masked man, who was the first person Su Jingxing killed. Judging by his identity, Xia Shigai had a very high status in Gourmand. However, after watching more than 40 years of his memories, he realized that this fellow was not only of high status. His identity was even more extraordinary. Xia Shigai, surname Xia. That's right, he was a member of the capital Xia family, a descendant of Xia Tsangxuan. In the Xia family, Xia Shigai was also a core member. He was part of the older generation. Outsiders addressed him Second Master Xia. In the first grade, he had already condensed the divine embryo. He was only 1 step away from hatching an essence soul. But this last step was the hardest to clear. As the second master of the Xia family, Xia Shigai knew all the secrets of the Xia family. Capturing barbarians was naturally one of them. However, it was a little different from what Su Jingxing had imagined. The Xia family was indeed the mastermind behind the manipulation of the barbarians in the dark, but the Xia family was not the only mastermind. The Xiang family of the New Chu nation was also involved. Yes, the Xia family was colluding with New Chu's Xiang family. The barbarians were captured by the old Xiang family and brought into the Yu nation through a secret channel. The Xia family had equipped the barbarians with mechanical battle armor and spread them out in the 18 prefectures. Their goal was not only to cause destruction, but also to get the rights to control the prefectures. Simply put, the Xia family wanted to seize power from the cabinet and restore the dignity of the imperial family. For example, in the New Chu nation, the Xiang family held great power, and the other factions could only contend against them by joining forces. The Xia family also wanted to be like the Xiang family. For this, they colluded with the Xiang family behind the cabinet's back. This was the real reason for Xia Tsangxuan's sorrow. There was no one else whose descendants would collude with an enemy nation for the sake of power. Over the decades, the Xia family had brought in more than 3,000 barbarians from the Xiong family. These barbarians were scattered in the 18 prefectures of the Yu nation. Xia Shigai was aware of every stronghold. Su Jingxing had wanted to wait before dealing with the Xia family. It was because he could not settle them in one go. Even if he joined forces with the cabinet, they wouldn't be able to finish in one go. The reason was that no one except the upper echelons of the Xia family knew about the Xia family's scattered strongholds. Moreover, it was unclear if anyone in the cabinet had colluded with the Xia family. Now all was good. Through Xia Shigai's memories, Su Jingxing learned the distribution of these strongholds. Knowing the locations, Su Jingxing could now handle the matter alone. Given the Essence Soul's ability to cross spaces, it could be resolved overnight. However, before that, Su Jingxing also saw another piece of exciting information in Xia Shigai's memories. Physical sanctification. Gourmand's goal in capturing Lu Wuchang and the others was to sanctify their physical bodies. Other than Lu Wuchang, everyone else had special physiques. They were either transcendent body martial artists or bloodline martial artists. These people came from the 13 countries of the eastern continent, and there were dozens of them. In the end, they were held at Green Cloud Mountain because Green Cloud Mountain's fate was the most special. As for why it was special, Xia Shigai didn't know either. Like Su Jingxing, they had also deduced it through heavenly secret arts. Of course, of the hundreds of people in Gourmand, only 3 were qualified to sanctify their bodies. Silver Mask, Golden Mask, Copper Mask. Xia Shigai was Silver Mask. The 3 of them had all condensed divine embryos and were only one step away. This final step was achieved with the cooking of dozens of martial artists with special constitutions. Su Jingxing browsed through Xia Shigai's memories. They were mainly about a set of theories passed down from ancient times in Gourmand about the sanctification of the physical body. This theory was the key. If the theory left behind by the nameless senior in the underground space inside the Big White Goose's Valley discussed the external to the internal. Then Gourmand, no, glutton. Ouyang Chan wasn't lying. The identities of Xia Shigai and company had indeed formed their own faction. They had long since become independent and were called glutton. However, they deliberately used the name of Gourmand to make the faction on Ouyang Huai's side feel disgusted, but helpless. The physical body sanctification theory left behind by glutton went from the internal to the external. One from the external to the internal, and the other from the internal to the external. As Su Jingxing read, he realized that these 2 theories could be combined. That would be more complete, more thorough, and safer than using either one alone. Why couldn't Senior Nameless theory be realized? Simply because the requirements are too harsh. Being exposed to the sun for a few months, enduring lightning strikes for a few months, and lying in the snow for a few months. F***ck, is this something a human can do? Much less needed to be said about the set theories by glutton. It was completely inhumane. But the combination of the 2 was different. Especially when Su Jingxing thought of the Emperor Chu's Jade Book. This ultimate technique was a dual cultivation of the internal and the external. Although it targeted the mind and soul, wouldn't it be better to use this as the foundation and fuse 2 sets of theories? Thump. Thump. Su Jingxing's heart raced. He was inexplicably agitated and excited. Let's give it a try. Try to fuse the 2 sets of theories. As long as the theories could be fused, coupled with the Emperor Chu's Jade Book, he could achieve the great goal of attaining sanctifying the physical body using the deduction card. Compared to sanctifying the physical body, forging the kingdom, defending Jade Seal and destroying the Xia family were no longer important. At this thought, Su Jingxing stopped moving. On the tree crown, he swallowed a few essence energy pills and racked his brains. He studied the 2 sets of theories and tried to fuse them together. To fuse perfectly, the body was the key. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. A week later, the excited Su Jingxing suddenly opened his eyes, unable to conceal the joy on his face. Success! He had successfully fused the two sets of theories on physical body sanctification. Using the Emperor Chu's Jade Book as the foundation, he achieved a sublimation of his physical body. Of course, theories were just theories. Whether they could become real or not still depended on the deduction card. Hence, Su Jingxing took out the two deduction cards he had just obtained and the one he kept as backup previously. He unlocked the three deduction cards one by one and deduced the theories of physical sanctification. In the end, there was still one last deduction chance left. Su Jingxing deduced the divine spirit control technique to fill in the gaps. And he had finally obtained the method to sanctify the physical body. There was no need to be exposed to the sun, struck by lightning, or be a beast. He only needed to borrow the power of the Unation's fate to complete the transformation of his physical body. The theories of the Nameless Senior, the theories of Glutton, and Emperor Chu's Jade Book. When the three were combined, physical sanctification was achieved. Su Jingxing carefully comprehended this sanctification technique. He realized that even with the power of the Unation's fate, it would still take 3 to 5 months before he could finally complete the transformation of his physical body. A complete transformation, from a mortal to a transcendent-grade martial artist. With such a long time, Su Jingxing decided to put it aside for now and settle the Xia family first. Now that Xia Shigai was dead, be it Glutton or the Xia family in the capital, there would be many future troubles. Su Jingxing had only killed most of the members of Glutton, not all. Such an ancient organization would never be fully eliminated. They were present in all 13 nations of the eastern continent. Even in the western continent, on the subcontinent, there were also people from organizations like Gourmand, Glutton, and Ghost Ride. As one of the leaders of Glutton, Xia Shigai's status was extraordinary. Only, Glutton never had a fixed base. Otherwise, Su Jingxing could have uprooted them in one go. Before the sky turned dark, Su Jingxing decided to cultivate the Emperor Chu's Jade Book first. The thread of nation's fate returned to normal. Using the martial arts practice card, Su Jingxing quickly reached the introductory stage. Then, he unlocked one martial arts practice card after another. He spent a total of 30 years of practice time and cultivated the Emperor Chu's Jade Book to the peak of perfection. At this level, Su Jingxing did not need to sense the fate of the Unation through the 6 comets records to be able to mobilize it to fight. As long as he was in the Unation, the fate of the Unation would be at his disposal. Of course, there was a limit to the amount he could use. After all, it was the fate of the nation. It did not matter if he borrowed a small portion of it, but he mobilized too much. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, floods, droughts, storms, and other disasters would instantly occur. Therefore, Su Jingxing silently calculated the data of the limits according to the Emperor Chu's Jade Book and memorized it. These numbers were not fixed. When the Unation's strength increased, it would also increase. The Emperor Chu's Jade Book itself meant that the stronger the country, the stronger the power it could unleash. As for the current strength of the Unation, he could use this opportunity of destroying the Xia family to test it out. Therefore, when night fell, Su Jingxing's essence soul descended from the void world. His first target was the Changyang Prefecture city. The barbarians controlled by the Xia family were held in a total of 3 strongholds in Changyang Prefecture. Those in Qinghe city were cleared. In the Changyang Prefecture city, Su Jingxing's essence soul took advantage of the night to descend from the sky. It found the right location and locked onto his target with its semi-X-ray vision. The invisible and intangible thread of the nation's fate was silently guided, coiling around and controlled by Su Jingxing's essence soul. Using the Emperor Chu's Jade Book, a huge hand of fate quickly condensed in the night. When the martial artists in the top ranks in the city sensed that something was wrong with the surroundings. Boom! A huge hand of fate descended from the sky and covered the barbarians' hiding spot. In just an instant, the terrifying power crushed the barbarians and martial artists who stayed behind in the stronghold into mush. Card plus 96. The notification flashed past. Su Jingxing's essence soul stood in the air and scanned the stronghold with its semi-X-ray vision. After making sure that it did not miss anything, it turned around and left. The essence soul crossed through the space and headed to the next stronghold. It also used the giant hand of fate to destroy everyone and extracted 88 cards. Chanyang Prefecture was settled. The next prefecture, Dashun Prefecture. The essence soul arrived crossing through space and looked down from above. It circulated the Emperor Chu's Jade Book and condensed an invisible hand of fate. It destroyed 2 strongholds and obtained 169 cards. The next prefecture, Baiyin Prefecture. Boom. Boom. Card plus 153. The next prefecture, Sifang Prefecture. Boom. 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 Card plus 226. The next prefecture, Qiannan Prefecture. Boom. Luori Prefecture, Duchin Prefecture, Baolai Prefecture, Baoyi Prefecture, Wulong Prefecture. From north to west, then south, then east, and finally back to the center, the Fulong Prefecture where the capital was located. Su Jingxing's essence soul crossed space and slaughtered its way over. It was fast enough. Among the 18 prefectures, other than the final Fulong Prefecture, it only took it about half an hour to go around the other 17 prefectures. An average of about 2 minutes to take care of one prefecture. However, a huge commotion were caused in some strongholds after they were destroyed as they were within the city. The Xia family in the capital still received the news. They reacted equally quickly. In their fear, they quickly started live broadcasts on the television stations and the internet. This is murder. Blatant murder. A martial sage protects the people, it is a guardian of the nation who suppresses foreign species, not a slaughterer. For hundreds of years, the Xia family has devoted itself entirely to the nation. Countless people have died or were injured. Even if we have not performed meritorious deeds, we have worked hard. Our hard work shouldn't be erased. The new martial sage can't treat us like this. It's easy to kill us, and we do not fear death, but we're not willing to die so pointlessly. The new martial sages is being unjust. The Xia family is indignant. The Xia family panicked. They were completely flustered. They did not know what had gone wrong. The strongholds scattered in the various prefectures were actually known by the newly advanced martial sage and they were all uprooted. In half an hour, all the strongholds were wiped out. It was obvious that the new martial sages want to eradicate them. No one wanted to die. No one in the Xia family wanted to die. However, they knew their own business. Since the new martial sage had removed the strongholds, he clearly knew about their doings. Colluding with the Xiang family of New Chu and manipulating the barbarians to harm the Yu nation in an attempt to stir up chaos and regain power. This was a serious crime, a capital crime that warranted confiscation and extermination. As for other crimes, they became unimportant compared to treason. Even the newly advanced martial sage had come knocking on their door. Before today, most people in the Xia family had believed that the new martial sage had relied on their ancestor to become a martial sage. They felt that they could continue to enjoy their superior quality of life and do whatever they wanted. Now that the matter was exposed, they realized that the new martial sage did not rely on their ancestor at all. If the martial sage wanted to kill them, they could not escape. The only way was to rope in the citizens and pretend to be the victim. The people were blind. If manipulated well, they would be the easiest to deceive. On television, on the internet, and on the screens in the open-air squares, the Xia family complained and aired their grievances through the various channels. As expected, the capital was in an uproar, the Fulong prefecture was shaken, and the entire Yu nation was stirred. A martial sage is being unjust. What's going on? What exactly is going on? I don't know. Who are the people shouting? What happened to them? It's the Xia family. They are one of the 5 major martial arts families in the U-Nation, the former imperial family. TSK, the Xia family has actually been targeted by the new martial sage. From what they said, it seems like the new martial sage wants to kill them. Huh? The new martial sage wants to kill members of the imperial family? Aren't they one family? Who told you that the new martial sage comes from the imperial family? The imperial Xia family is no longer the imperial family from more than 100 years ago, okay? The current Xia family is notorious in places like the Fulong Prefecture, the Bapsan Prefecture, and the Chongming Prefecture. They are ferocious, domineering, sinister, and vicious. They have done countless evil deeds. The current Xia family does not have the grace and nobility of the imperial family of the past at all. That's right. The Xia family should have been wiped out long ago. Good job by the new martial sage. You guys are too much. Even if the Xia family has done bad things, they shouldn't be annihilated, because they have indeed contributed to the U-Nation, let alone having a martial sage personally taking action. That's right. A martial sage is a guardian, not a slaughterer. For a time, the internet was in an uproar. Some believed in the Xia family, while others believed in the new martial sage. The Xia family was protesting and complaining because they had accumulated hundreds of years of royal family history. Needless to say, the new martial sage had just killed New Chu's martial sage for the U-Nation and revitalized their morale. Almost all martial artists, especially the younger generation, worshipped the new martial sage from the bottom of their hearts. In their opinion, the Xia family must have done something evil for the new martial sage to want to destroy them. However, most of the ordinary people were confused by the Xia family's complaints. Especially the older generation, they had special feelings for the imperial family. As soon as they heard that the new martial sage wanted to wipe out the imperial family, their first reaction was that the martial sage wanted to rebel. It hadn't been long since he became a martial sage. In the eyes of the lower echelons, although his status was high, he was still inferior to the imperial family. This was the power of time. The accumulation of hundreds of years of the imperial Xia family could not be erased in a short period of time. After Su Jingxing's essence soul arrived in the capital, it did hesitate when it saw and heard these comments. It was not that it was afraid of the Xia family, but standing against the people would be inconvenient for Su Jingxing to forge the kingdom-defending Jade Seal next. All of the Xia family's strongholds had been eliminated, leaving only the Xia family's main force in the capital. Keeping an eye on them in secret temporarily was nothing. Once this storm of public opinion was over, he would come back to get rid of the Xia family. With this in mind, Su Jingxing's essence soul prepared to return to the void world. Unexpectedly, the situation suddenly changed then. The Xia family's manor in the capital city and their ancestral residence outside the city suddenly encountered attacks from 3. No, 4. No, 5. 5 groups of troops suddenly appeared and charged into the Xia family's manor and ancestral mansion to launch an attack. Even though they were divided into 5 groups, they worked well together. No one shouted or affected the others. When they attacked, they only targeted the members of the Xia family. They would either gang up on or kill them forcefully. With the martial artists in the top ranks taking the lead, the middle ranks followed behind to finish them off. The Xia family members, who were already panicking and terrified, were caught off guard. The battle was one-sided. Su Jingxing's essence soul could not help but reveal a strange expression when it heard the angry roars and curses. The 5 major martial arts families of the U-Nation, the Chen, Xia, Yu, Feng, and Fu families, were independent of each other and did not form alliances. Now, the Chen, Yu, Feng and Fu families had joined forces to besiege the Xia family. Apart from them, there was another faction that was actually backed by the cabinet. The cabinet also took action. Not only did they attack directly, they also surrounded the Xia family's strongholds inside and outside the city. On the internet and on television, counterattacks had also begun, counterattacks on the Xia family. The various channels began to expose the evil deeds the Xia family had done over the years. Robbery, extermination, humiliating women, killing for pleasure. Other than colluding with New Chu's Xiang family, all the other dirty and disgusting matters were exposed. One by one, clear evidence was presented in front of everyone. Instantly, everyone was stunned. Is this really the imperial family? Unbelievable, simply unbelievable. The imperial family is actually more of a bandit than bandits. I take back what I just said. I apologize, I repent. I wish I could give myself 2 slaps. F***ck, why won't the Xia family go and die? It's indeed better to wipe out such a family as soon as possible. They would be a complete disaster if kept. I knew it. There must be a reason why the martial sage dealt with the Xia family. See now. There isn't a single good person in the entire Xia family. I'm very curious about how the Xia family survived until today. Since the cabinet has so much evidence of the Xia family's evil deeds, why didn't they destroy them earlier? Ahem, I know the reason, but I can't tell you. The person above is posturing. The internet was in an uproar, and so were people in reality. The public opinion took a 180-degree turn. The Xia family's complaints and grievances were drowned out by countless curses. Su Jingxing's essence soul watched and listened, chuckling. There was no need for it to do anything. The Xia family was finished. Under the instructions of the team sent by the cabinet, the Chen, Yu, Feng, and Fu families firmly surrounded the 2 strongholds inside and outside the city and quickly and forcefully ended them. The voices of the Xia family from various channels disappeared one after another. Su Jingxing's essence soul only needed to stand in the air to extract cards. The Xia family had done all sorts of evil. How could it have survived until today? It was all because they had Xia Tsangxuan, a martial sage, as their backer. Now that Xia Tsangxuan was gone and Su Jingxing had replaced him, the Xia family's good days had naturally come to an end. The Chen, Yu, Feng, and Fu families and the cabinet had besieged the Xia family precisely to curry favor with Su Jingxing. Given the current situation, it wouldn't be a big deal if Su Jingxing really wanted to wipe out the Xia family in front of countless people. However, if he could avoid some trouble, there was no need for him to do it personally. The same goal could be achieved if the families and the cabinet acted on Su Jingxing's behalf. Therefore, the operation went surprisingly smoothly. In less than half an hour, the Xia family left the stage. The imperial Xia family that had lasted for hundreds of years disappeared henceforth. From then on, the 5 major martial arts families became the 4 major families. Chen family, Yu family, Feng family, Fu family. The leaders of these 4 families stood in the sky above the Xia family's stronghold in the city and bowed to the sky. Su Jingxing's essence soul glanced at the 4 of them and turned around to return to the void world without saying anything. With the Xia family settled, the matter could come to an end. As for the other mastermind controlling the barbarians, New Chu's Xiang family, they were temporarily let off. Xiang Qingtian's essence soul was not dead, and it could not die yet. North of Green Cloud Mountain, Su Jingxing's main body circulated the Emperor Chu's Jade Book and began the sanctification of his physical body into a sage. He circulated the nation's fate to cover his body. The derived technique targeted the body and used the power of the nation's fate to carry out mysterious and profound changes. Su Jingxing couldn't describe this change. In any case, there was no pain or abnormality. All he had to do was remain motionless. Using the Emperor Chu's Jade Book, together with Fate of the Nation, it was so gentle that there was no abnormality. This piqued Su Jingxing's interest. The blood doppelganger came to Green Cloud Mountain and took out the materials to forge the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. The essence soul descended from the void world and forged the kingdom-defending jade seal at the same time. Physical sanctification targeted the body, and the essence soul forged the kingdom-defending jade seal. The blood doppelganger acted as a protector. They were independent of each other, perfectly undisturbed. 1 day, 2 days, 10 days. 1 month, 2 months. Soon, the kingdom-defending jade seal was successfully forged, and the transformation of his physical body was still ongoing. Su Jingxing's essence soul returned to the void world with the kingdom-defending jade seal. According to Xia Tsangxuan, soul power controlled the kingdom-defending jade seal to release invisible power. This invisible power first covered the entire Yu nation's territory in the void world, which included all 18 prefectures. Then, the kingdom-defending jade seal would guard the center and be linked to every corner of the 18 prefectures. In an instant, the 18 prefectures were connected. The moment it ended, Su Jingxing's essence soul clearly sensed that the kingdom-defending jade seal and the 18 prefectures of the Yu nation were perfectly compatible. Silently, the kingdom-defending jade seal contacted every citizen and began to condense the sage origin fruit. Su Jingxing's essence soul was very satisfied. With the kingdom-defending jade seal in hand, it did not need to circulate the Emperor Chu's jade book and could already use the nation's fate to protect him. Although this protection had a limit on the use of the nation's fate, it was much better than the Emperor Chu's jade book. Of course, Su Jingxing's essence soul had the Thunder Dragon bone armor and did not need the nation's fate to protect it. What he valued more was the sage origin fruit. So far, only the sage origin fruit and the heaven essence pill could greatly boost the strength of the essence soul and achieve an improvement in class. However, obtaining the heaven essence pill required too much luck. Unlike the sage origin fruit, which only required the kingdom-defending jade seal. As long as one kept a close eye on such an automatically condensed treasure and did not let it be seized by the monsters in the darkness of the void world, one could continuously harvest it. Su Jingxing's essence soul had waited for so long. It was finally here. During this period of time, there were monsters that came out from the darkness of the void world. However, they were immediately detected by the divine weapon, the Wandering Dragon Saber. The Wandering Dragon Saber could kill most of them. For the remaining small portion, Su Jingxing's essence soul to pause the forging of the kingdom-defending jade seal and quickly return to the void world kill them. These monsters weren't very powerful. The void beasts it had encountered before never appeared again. Forging the kingdom-defending jade seal could be paused for a short period of time. If a void beast appeared, it would more or less affect it. Now that the kingdom-defending jade seal had been completed, there was no longer a need to be nervous about whether or not a void beast had appeared. North of Green Cloud Mountain. Su Jingxing's main body was still immersed in the transformation of his physical body. With the nation's fate on him, the silent changes had never stopped. Another month passed. One morning, just as the sun rose, Su Jingxing suddenly shuddered. A wisp of purple energy descended from the sky and entered his body. In the next moment, Su Jingxing's physical body seemed to have entered nothingness and disappeared from Earth Star. The blood doppelganger watched from the side. In its vision, the main body was still where it was, but the body had become translucent. It was faintly discernible, as if it existed, but also as if it did not. This change lasted for a month before it disappeared and the body returned to normal. However, the transformation of his physical body did not stop. It was still ongoing. Almost 2 months later, the circulating Emperor Chu's jade book stopped automatically. Su Jingxing opened his eyes, which shot out a golden-red glow. The surface of his body was also covered in a golden-red glow. With a thought, his body turned illusory, invisible to the naked eye. Even with the blood doppelganger's perception, it could not be discovered. He rose into the air and strolled across the horizon. As he walked towards the sky, golden-red glow flickered in his eyes. Su Jingxing saw the border membrane of the void world. Immediately, he continued to cross space and walk up. Soon, he arrived in front of the border membrane. He gently reached out and his illusory palm passed through the membrane, then his entire arm, shoulder, and finally, his entire body entered the void world. There was no suffocation, no boundless pressure weighing on him. Su Jingxing easily stepped on the border membrane and walked around the void world. Success! After more than half a year, Su Jingxing completed the transformation of his physical body and stepped into the transcendent grade. Like the essence soul, he easily arrived in the void world. The most direct reflection of this change in life level was an increase in lifespan. Others had added 240 years, but Su Jingxing didn't know how much he had added. Because the paths they took were different, the methods they cultivated were also different. The essence soul cultivated soul power. Su Jingxing's body did not need it, but his true essence was still there. That's right, the true essence in his dantian was still there. After his physical body transformed, his dantian did not seem to have changed much. The true essence of 300 years of cultivation still existed, but it was different from before. This was the abnormality Su Jingxing discovered after carefully sensing the true essence in his dantian. His true essence had mutated. It wasn't that it had become useless or heretic. If he had to describe it, his previous true essence was equivalent to a bowl of clear water, and the current true essence was a bowl of thick soup. As his physical body transformed, his true essence also underwent a qualitative change. Moreover, Su Jingxing could vaguely feel that with this qualitative change, his true essence was now even stronger than his original true essence. As for where the strengths laid, it was unclear for now. His physical body had come to the void world, and his essence soul was also in the void world. At this moment, Su Jingxing was not afraid of any void beast invasion. He even dared to venture into the darkness. Su Jingxing had never leave the Yu Nation's territory before. He couldn't see. Hey, wait a minute. Suddenly, Su Jingxing, who had walked to the edge, froze. He was seeing. His eyes that flickered with golden-red glow actually saw the environment in the darkness. The dark region that the essence soul could not see through, his eyes that had transformed with the physical body saw. There was no sun, no moon, and no stars. In his strange light red vision, there was only an empty wasteland. There were no plants or animals in the wilderness. All he could see was sand. At first glance, it looked like a forbidden area with no life. However, an invisible sense of danger still lingered in Su Jingxing's heart. Of course, it was much better compared to the essence soul. Su Jingxing was in no hurry to leave. He stood at the edge of the darkness and looked at the wasteland in the darkness, waiting patiently. If there was really nothing, it would not have given him a sense of danger. Since the feeling existed, it meant that there was unknown danger in this wasteland. This wait lasted for 7 days. On the morning of the 8th day in reality, when the sun rose, Su Jingxing finally saw the changes in the wilderness. First, the ground covered in sand kept rolling and rolling, as if it was boiling. From a small pile, they piled up into a small slope, then a small hill, and finally, a huge mountain. Mountains that were 1,000 feet tall, 10,000 feet tall, and 10,000 feet tall rose from the ground. The entire process was silent, but it was still indescribably spectacular and shocking. In his light red vision, these mountains were arranged in a certain pattern on the original wasteland. One after another, strange lifeforms appeared on the mountain. They were either jumping, rolling, flying, or running. They came in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Their numbers moved from the single digits at the beginning to dozens, and finally the hundreds. There were even more monsters in the distance, but Su Jingxing couldn't see them clearly. However, Su Jingxing saw the monsters nearby clearly. The ostrich monsters and puffer fish monsters that he had killed previously appeared one after another. Su Jingxing didn't see any hidden thunder dragon beard beasts, but he saw no less than 3 void beasts that were similar in size to it. Their appearances were each more hideous and strange than the other. One of them resembled a lion, but it had 4 flaming hooves, 8 tails, and a body length of more than 10 meters. It roared silently and ran toward Su Jingxing. In his surprise, Su Jingxing was about to summon his divine weapon to defend himself. A young female with long flowing hair in martial arts attire suddenly appeared in his field of vision. Xiang Qingtian's essence soul was not dead, and it could not die yet. North of Green Cloud Mountain. Su Jingxing's main body circulated the Emperor Chu's Jade Book and began the sanctification of his physical body into a sage. He circulated the nation's fate to cover his body. The derived technique targeted the body and used the power of the nation's fate to carry out mysterious and profound changes. Su Jingxing couldn't describe this change. In any case, there was no pain or abnormality. All he had to do was remain motionless. Using the Emperor Chu's Jade Book, together with Fate of the Nation, it was so gentle that there was no abnormality. This piqued Su Jingxing's interest. The blood doppelganger came to Green Cloud Mountain and took out the materials to forge the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. The essence soul descended from the void world and forged the kingdom-defending Jade Seal at the same time. Physical sanctification targeted the body, and the essence soul forged the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. The blood doppelganger acted as a protector. They were independent of each other, perfectly undisturbed. 1 day, 2 days, 10 days. 1 month, 2 months. Soon, the kingdom-defending Jade Seal was successfully forged, and the transformation of his physical body was still ongoing. Su Jingxing's essence soul returned to the void world with the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. According to Xia Zhangshuan, soul power controlled the kingdom-defending Jade Seal to release invisible power. This invisible power first covered the entire Yu nation's territory in the void world, which included all 18 prefectures. Then, the kingdom-defending Jade Seal would guard the center and be linked to every corner of the 18 prefectures. In an instant, the 18 prefectures were connected. The moment it ended, Su Jingxing's essence soul clearly sensed that the kingdom-defending Jade Seal and the 18 prefectures of the Yu nation were perfectly compatible. Silently, the kingdom-defending Jade Seal contacted every citizen and began to condense the sage origin fruit. Su Jingxing's essence soul was very satisfied. With the kingdom-defending Jade Seal in hand, it did not need to circulate the Emperor Chu's Jade Book and could already use the nation's fate to protect him. Although this protection had a limit on the use of the nation's fate, it was much better than the Emperor Chu's Jade Book. Of course, Su Jingxing's essence soul had the Thunder Dragon bone armor and did not need the nation's fate to protect it. What he valued more was the Sage Origin Fruit. So far, only the Sage Origin Fruit and the Heaven Essence Pill could greatly boost the strength of the Essence Soul and achieve an improvement in class. However, obtaining the Heaven Essence Pill required too much luck. Unlike the Sage Origin Fruit, which only required the kingdom-defending Jade Seal. As long as one kept a close eye on such an automatically condensed treasure and did not let it be seized by the monsters in the darkness of the void world, one could continuously harvest it. Su Jingxing's essence soul had waited for so long. It was finally here. During this period of time, there were monsters that came out from the darkness of the void world. However, they were immediately detected by the divine weapon, the Wandering Dragon Saber. The Wandering Dragon Saber could kill most of them. For the remaining small portion, Su Jingxing's essence soul to pause the forging of the kingdom-defending Jade Seal and quickly return to the void world kill them. These monsters weren't very powerful. The void beasts it had encountered before never appeared again. Forging the kingdom-defending Jade Seal could be paused for a short period of time. If a void beast appeared, it would more or less affect it. Now that the kingdom-defending Jade Seal had been completed, there was no longer a need to be nervous about whether or not a void beast had appeared. North of Green Cloud Mountain. Su Jingxing's main body was still immersed in the transformation of his physical body. With the nation's fate on him, the silent changes had never stopped. Another month passed. One morning, just as the sun rose, Su Jingxing suddenly shuddered. A wisp of purple energy descended from the sky and entered his body. In the next moment, Su Jingxing's physical body seemed to have entered nothingness and disappeared from Earth's star. The blood doppelganger watched from the side. In its vision, the main body was still where it was, but the body had become translucent. It was faintly discernible, as if it existed, but also as if it did not. This change lasted for a month before it disappeared and the body returned to normal. However, the transformation of his physical body did not stop. It was still ongoing. Almost 2 months later, the circulating Emperor Chu's jade book stopped automatically. Su Jingxing opened his eyes, which shot out a golden-red glow. The surface of his body was also covered in a golden-red glow. With a thought, his body turned illusory, invisible to the naked eye. Even with the blood doppelganger's perception, it could not be discovered. He rose into the air and strolled across the horizon. As he walked towards the sky, golden-red glow flickered in his eyes. Su Jingxing saw the border membrane of the void world. Immediately, he continued to cross space and walk up. Soon, he arrived in front of the border membrane. He gently reached out and his illusory palm passed through the membrane, then his entire arm, shoulder, and finally, his entire body entered the void world. There was no suffocation, no boundless pressure weighing on him. Su Jingxing easily stepped on the border membrane and walked around the void world. Success! After more than half a year, Su Jingxing completed the transformation of his physical body and stepped into the transcendent grade. Like the essence soul, he easily arrived in the void world. The most direct reflection of this change in life level was an increase in lifespan. Others had added 240 years, but Su Jingxing didn't know how much he had added. Because the paths they took were different, the methods they cultivated were also different. The essence soul cultivated soul power. Su Jingxing's body did not need it, but his true essence was still there. That's right, the true essence in his dantian was still there. After his physical body transformed, his dantian did not seem to have changed much. The true essence of 300 years of cultivation still existed, but it was different from before. This was the abnormality Su Jingxing discovered after carefully sensing the true essence in his dantian. His true essence had mutated. It wasn't that it had become useless or heretic. If he had to describe it, his previous true essence was equivalent to a bowl of clear water, and the current true essence was a bowl of thick soup. As his physical body transformed, his true essence also underwent a qualitative change. Moreover, Su Jingxing could vaguely feel that with this qualitative change, his true essence was now even stronger than his original true essence. As for where the strengths laid, it was unclear for now. His physical body had come to the void world, and his essence soul was also in the void world. At this moment, Su Jingxing was not afraid of any void beast invasion. He even dared to venture into the darkness. Su Jingxing had never leave the Yu nation's territory before. He couldn't see. Hey, wait a minute. Suddenly, Su Jingxing, who had walked to the edge, froze. He was seeing. His eyes that flickered with golden-red glow actually saw the environment in the darkness. The dark region that the essence soul could not see through, his eyes that had transformed with the physical body saw. There was no sun, no moon, and no stars. In his strange light red vision, there was only an empty wasteland. There were no plants or animals in the wilderness. All he could see was sand. At first glance, it looked like a forbidden area with no life. However, an invisible sense of danger still lingered in Su Jingxing's heart. Of course, it was much better compared to the essence soul. Su Jingxing was in no hurry to leave. He stood at the edge of the darkness and looked at the wasteland in the darkness, waiting patiently. If there was really nothing, it would not have given him a sense of danger. Since the feeling existed, it meant that there was unknown danger in this wasteland. This wait lasted for 7 days. On the morning of the 8th day in reality, when the sun rose, Su Jingxing finally saw the changes in the wilderness. First, the ground covered in sand kept rolling and rolling, as if it was boiling. From a small pile, they piled up into a small slope, then a small hill, and finally, a huge mountain. Mountains that were 1,000 feet tall, 10,000 feet tall, and 10,000 feet tall rose from the ground. The entire process was silent, but it was still indescribably spectacular and shocking. In his light red vision, these mountains were arranged in a certain pattern on the original wasteland. One after another, strange lifeforms appeared on the mountain. They were either jumping, rolling, flying, or running. They came in all kinds of shapes and sizes. Their numbers moved from the single digits at the beginning to dozens, and finally the hundreds. There were even more monsters in the distance, but Su Jingxing couldn't see them clearly. However, Su Jingxing saw the monsters nearby clearly. The ostrich monsters and puffer fish monsters that he had killed previously appeared one after another. Su Jingxing didn't see any hidden thunder dragon beard beasts, but he saw no less than 3 void beasts that were similar in size to it. Their appearances were each more hideous and strange than the other. One of them resembled a lion, but it had 4 flaming hooves, 8 tails, and a body length of more than 10 meters. It roared silently and ran towards Su Jingxing. In his surprise, Su Jingxing was about to summon his divine weapon to defend himself. A young female with long flowing hair in martial arts attire suddenly appeared in his field of vision. Someone was here. There was actually someone in the void world. Su Jingxing focused his gaze and stared fixedly on the long-haired female who was floating in midair and landing from time to time. She was about 16 or 17 years old. She had an oval face and fair skin that was suffused with a healthy luster. Her eyes were dewy, big and bright. Her long eyelashes flickered. She had a perky nose and some baby fat on both cheeks. Her figure was elegant, like a fairy from the sky. Her temperament was pure and clean, giving one a good impression of her at a glance. Of course, Su Jingxing was staring at her not because he was mesmerized by her beauty, but because this young girl seemed to be chasing after the 8-tailed lion beast. That's right, she was chasing after the 8-tailed lion beast. The 8-tailed lion beast, which was as big as a small mountain, was actually fleeing in desperation from being chased by a 16 or 17-year-old girl. Aren't void beasts very powerful? Every void beast has its own unique ability, or even multiple abilities. What's going on with this 8-tailed lion beast? Unable to defeat the girl. Also, where did this girl come from? How could she float and around the void world at will? Su Jingxing couldn't tell if she was in the essence soul state or the physical body state. This girl with baby fat was indeed strange and mysterious. Su Jingxing stood at the edge of the darkness and watched as the 8-tailed lion beast ran towards him. Just as it was about to enter the U-Nation's territory, it turned around and ran towards the back. Seeing this, the chubby girl behind it also took a detour to avoid the U-Nation's territory. However, the moment she took a detour, the chubby girl subconsciously glanced at Su Jingxing who was at the edge of the darkness. Then, her floating body suddenly froze in midair. His big eyes were fixed on Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing met her gaze calmly. At the very least, Su Jingxing felt that they were making eye contact. However, he didn't know how the chubby girl felt. The latter blinked her big eyes and stared at Su Jingxing without blinking. As she stared, she suddenly pouted and stuck out her tongue at Su Jingxing. She's acting cute. Although that was a little mischievous and quirky, it was indeed very cute. Su Jingxing's expression remained unchanged on the surface, but the chubby girl became interested. With a tap of her toes, she floated towards Su Jingxing. Her casual and leisure attitude was natural and unrestrained. She stood in front of Su Jingxing, facing him from a meter away. Hi. The chubby girl's mouth did not open, but a pretty and pleasant girl's voice sounded in Su Jingxing's mind. Soul power voice transmission. Mental power voice transmission. Su Jingxing's expression remained unchanged. The chubby girl was too mysterious. Su Jingxing couldn't be sure whether she was an enemy or a friend, nor did he know her strength. To be safe, it was better to remain silent. Of course, he remained vigilant. Looks like I was thinking too much. Su Jingxing was aloof and indifferent. The chubby girl stuck out her tongue and complained to herself, I knew it. How could there be anyone who can see through the darkness and see the things in the void world? As she spoke, she did not forget to wave her hands and gesture about in front of Su Jingxing. After making sure that Su Jingxing couldn't see her, she wiped her nose proudly and turned to leave. However, after walking for more than 10 meters, she suddenly jumped back and shouted, Wah, at Su Jingxing. Fortunately, he was prepared and was not caught off guard. The chubby girl was still testing if Su Jingxing could see her. He really can't see anything. As expected, seeing no change in Su Jingxing, the girl muttered and turned to leave. This time, she did not return. Instead, she leaped into the air and disappeared into the distance. The mountains in the wilderness stood still. Strange-looking lifeforms fought, killed, and devoured one another. Su Jingxing stood at the edge and stared for a while before slowly lifting his feet and stepping into the darkness. Nothing happened. His entire body passed through the invisible membrane between the darkness and the Unation's void world and entered it. Nothing unexpected happened. A golden-red glow covered his entire body. Su Jingxing stepped on the thick and solid ground and took a few steps forward. When the strange lifeforms nearby discovered Su Jingxing, they were all frightened and scattered. Su Jingxing did not go far. He only walked half a circle around the periphery of the Unation's territory before passing through the invisible membrane and returning to the Unation's area. The moment he entered, he suddenly felt something and turned to look at a mountain on his right. A strange bird with 3 heads seemed to have been provoked. Under Su Jingxing's gaze, it spread its wings and flew into the distance. So it's a strange bird. Su Jingxing looked away and wasn't bothered. On the reverse side of the mountain peak, the chubby girl leaned against a huge rock and patted her chest. Her face was covered in shock and her eyes were filled with disbelief. He can see. Who is this fellow? He can actually enter the void world and see through the darkness. Nian Linger couldn't help but blush when she thought about how her earlier actions had been seen by him. So embarrassing. Ned fellow. He could clearly see it, but he pretended not to. Humph. Nian Linger sniffled and stopped her shyness. Her big eyes darted around. Interesting, really interesting. There's actually someone who can see through the darkness and enter the void world. No, I have to tell sister about this. After muttering to herself, Nian Linger pushed off her toes and leaped into the air, flying into the distance. She wasn't fast, but every step she took covered a few mountains to a dozen mountains. In the blink of an eye, Nian Linger left the wilderness. The strange lifeforms and massive void beasts she encountered on the way all circled around her, not daring to approach. When a frosty world appeared in front of her, with endless snow that seemed like they would never stop falling, Nian Linger slowed down and came to a ice river. After flying along the ice river for a distance, Nian Linger's body swayed and she jumped into an ice cave. However, in the next second, Nian Linger appeared in a spacious hall. The so-called ice cave was actually the entrance to the hall. There were no carvings on the dome of the hall that was dozens of meters tall, save for a few mysterious patterns. Nian Linger skipped through the hall, ran through the long corridor, and entered a room filled with an icy aura. Sis, guess what I encountered today? Nian Linger jogged to an expressionless young woman with a cold demeanor. She blinked her big eyes with an expression that said, hurry up and praise me. The young woman remained indifferent, as if she did not see Nian Linger before. She continued cultivating silently. Sis, just cooperate with me this once. Nian Linger was helpless. I'm really not lying to you this time. That fellow is very magical, unlike other martial sages who can only stroll around their own territory. He's different. This fellow's body is suffused with a golden red glow, and his eyes can also emit a golden red glow. At first, I thought I had been discovered and was shocked. I specially ran over to do a close-up test to see if he had seen me. At first, this fellow acted very well. But in the end, he was still exposed. Hey, sis, do you know how he was exposed? Huh, I pretended to leave and hid behind the mountain to watch him. In the end, I realized that that fellow could also enter the void world. None of the martial sages here can enter the void world. The path they cultivate belongs to divine martial arts. Without reaching a certain level, they can't enter the void world at all. In any case, I've read the records. So far, it's been thousands of years. Not a single martial sage has been able to enter the void world, but that fellow can. Sis, what do you think is the reason? Because his path is not the divine martial arts, said the young woman coolly. That's right. Nian Linger clapped her hands and spun around on the spot. She said happily, on the way back, I also thought of this. The path he took is different from others. It was clearly not divine martial arts, but spiritual martial arts. Spiritual martial arts, sis. There's actually someone here who has embarked on the path of spiritual martial arts. I remember you once said that if we want to leave this place, we need the help of a spiritual marshal. The young woman fell silent. Seeing this, Nian Linger asked anxiously, Sis, have you forgotten? I haven't forgotten. The young woman said calmly, I did say that we need the help of a spiritual martial artist, but whether the person you're talking about is really one remains debatable. This world is very mysterious. There are some places that even Master and Uncle Master have never been to. To be able to enter the void world, one doesn't necessarily have to be a spiritual martial artist. Through some treasures, one can also step into the void world. That's simple, said Nian Linger. We just have to find him and ask him about it. Or we can spar with him and test his strength to see if he's a spiritual martial artist. Why should he answer you? The young woman replied indifferently. Must he give you answer when you ask? Also, aren't you afraid of being beaten to death if you spar with him? Don't forget what existences we are. Nian Linger's expression froze. She opened her mouth, but in the end, she said aggrievedly, then we'll just let it go like that? Not necessarily. The young woman said calmly, we can't go to him directly, let alone spar with him. We can try to interact with him first. By the way, where did you find him? Nian Linger scratched her head. Her big eyes darted around as she recalled. I think it's the U-Nation. Yes, the U-Nation's void world region. I saw the person there. U-Nation. The young woman pondered. He's actually the U-Nation's martial sage. What a coincidence. Ah, sis, what are you saying? Nian Linger was puzzled. Nothing. The young woman came back to her senses and said seriously, go get ready. We'll go to the U-Nation with the delegation in a few days. All right. The void world. U-Nation's region. Su Jingxing sensed for changes in his physical body. He entered and left the dark area without any reaction. It was mainly due to the advancement of his body after the transformation. For example, transcendent body. Su Jingxing realized that his transcendent body was still there. As long as he activated it, his physical body would also possess a golden body defense physique. Moreover, it had also undergone a transformation. Now, it was a two transformations golden body. This discovery was a little surprising. The ability of the transcendent body card was actually strengthened along with the transformation of the physical body. Previously, he had to consume strength pills to strengthen his transcendent body, but not too many at once. Now, there was no need. Dozens or even hundreds of them could be digested. Su Jingxing thought of the mighty strength cards. They came from barbarian corpses, each containing tens of thousands of caddies. Unlocking one and adding it to his body was undoubtedly faster than taking strength pills. This strengthening effect was equivalent to using hacks. Su Jingxing immediately tried to unlock a mighty strength card and activate the transcendent body. As expected, there were obvious changes in his transcendent body, and his strength had increased. Therefore, he unlocked a mighty strength card again and continued to strengthen his physique and strength. From the initial 250,000 caddies, it increased to 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 caddies. Slowly, his two transformations golden body became 3, 4. When all the mighty strength cards were used up, Su Jingxing's strength had reached 950,000 caddies, a 5 transformations golden body. Just 50,000 caddies more to 1,000,000 caddies of strength. Sensing that his body's adaptability showed no signs of stiffness or uncontrollability, Su Jingxing decisively swallowed large amounts of strength pills. He directly gathered his strength to 1,000,000 caddies. 1,000,000 caddies of strength. Su Jingxing sensed his body again and finally realized that he had reached his limit again. It was also extremely difficult to break through from the 5 transformations to 6 transformations. Fortunately, Su Jingxing was easily satisfied. 1,000,000 caddies of strength and a 5 transformations golden body could be on par with the Thunder Dragon bone armor already. This was what Su Jingxing discovered after his physical body and the essence soul clashed head-on and he attacked himself. Putting everything else aside, the combat power of the physical body and the essence soul was evenly matched. As for whether their realms were the same, Su Jingxing wasn't sure. The essence soul was in the 4th class of the void soul realm. The situation of the physical body was clearly different. It was difficult to determine whether one could use the definitions of void spirit, concentration, and soul formation. Putting everything else aside, when his physical body left the void world and returned to reality, he stood on the mountaintop and faced the morning sun without feeling any pain. The essence soul could not be exposed to the sun for long, but the physical body was fine. How could this be considered the same? Su Jingxing had no choice but to divide them into 2 paths. Even his true essence had mutated, let alone his dantian. Speaking of mutated true essence, Su Jingxing took out a true essence card he had extracted when he destroyed the Xia family. He unlocked it and tried to absorb and convert it into the same type of true essence. And it turned out that it could not be fused. The true essence card contained 3 years of true essence cultivation. It could be absorbed after being unlocked, but it could not be fused with mutated true essence. Moreover, the mutation of true essence greatly repelled new true essence. With both in his dantian, new true essence was squeezed into a corner and pushed towards the 4 walls. The mutated true essence tried its best to expel the new true essence out of his dantian. Forcefully putting them together, his dantian felt like it was about to boil and explode. When Su Jingxing sensed this, he decisively released all 3 years of true essence cultivation. In his dantian, the remaining mutated true essence quickly calmed down. If I can't fuse them, doesn't that mean that I won't be able to use the internal force cards, true energy cards, and true essence cards in the future? Su Jingxing frowned and thought hard. The power of the mutated true essence is stronger, and it repels new true essence. It should be because of martial arts. If the new true essence also mutates through martial arts, then I can continue to fuse them. Simply put, the 9 steps trampling heaven was insufficient now. The internal force cards, true energy cards, and true essence cards were fine. The problem was that the martial arts he cultivated could not keep up with the changes. I need to change my martial art. But what kind of martial art would be good? Among the martial arts that Su Jingxing had stored, some were high-level, some were low-level, but none of them could condense mutated true essence. Such abnormal true essence was a product of chance and accident. The martial arts he already possessed did not meet the requirements to condense it. Unless he created one himself. Creating my own martial arts. Su Jingxing thought for a moment, and his eyes lit up. Given his conditions, he could indeed create his own martial art to cultivate. The martial arts he had stored up previously could be used as reference. As long as there was a set of past theories, it could be turned into reality through the deduction card. Yes, let's do that. At this thought, Su Jingxing's mind raced as he thought about what martial art to get. To create one's own martial arts, one first had to have a theme and an idea. Would it be defensive, offensive, fire attribute, water attribute, mental, or physical? He would first confirm his train of thought before proceeding with other matters. And he had to consider this carefully. It could not be hurried. Su Jingxing returned to his small courtyard at the foot of the mountain and had a good sleep. The next day, he got up and went to the crematorium to patrol as usual. Then, he stayed in his office and took out a pen and paper to scribble on. When it was almost noon, he suddenly had a thought. Someone was using a heavenly secret art to spy on him. No, not spying, but calling out. Looking for me. Looking for a martial sage. Su Jingxing stopped writing and operated the 6 comets records to follow the guidance of the heavenly secret arts. It turned out that someone was really calling out to him, and the location was in the capital. Someone in the capital is looking for me. The 4 major martial arts families are looking for me. Or is the cabinet looking for me? Su Jingxing took stock of the situation for a brief moment, then decided he would go take a look. Of course, it wasn't his body that would go over. It was the essence soul. The essence soul wearing the thunder dragon bone armor was unafraid of sunlight. The capital. In the Foreign Affairs Division building. In the spacious and bright reception room. The Deputy Prime Minister, Luo Shan, stood on the rooftop of the 3rd floor and looked at a snow-white bird in the courtyard not far away. The corners of his lips twitched. Behind him stood 2 martial artists in workwear. They were curious and envious as they looked at the snow-white bird that was almost as tall as 2 humans. How is it? Have you managed to contact the martial sage? Luo Shan suddenly asked. Oh, no. The 2 martial artists were stunned. They came back to their senses and shook their heads. The Heavenly Secrets Office sent back news that they sent the message as requested, but it's unknown if the martial sage received it. Luo Shan nodded. He retracted his gaze from the snow-white bird and looked at the sky. I hope the martial sage receives it and comes over quickly. Transcendent great existences, only. He suddenly stopped talking. His eyes widened as he looked at the sky. Surprise quickly appeared on his face. He's here, he's here. He's here. The 2 working martial artists were stunned for a moment before they reacted and looked up at the sky. Sure enough, a ball of light had appeared in the sky. The ball of light moved very quickly. 1 second ago, it was still on the horizon, and the next, it was in the capital. Another second later, it was at the 1st level of the Foreign Affairs Division building. Seemingly having discovered the trio, the ball of light teleported and appeared in front of them. Are you guys looking for me? Under the thunder dragon bone armor, Su Jingxing's ethereal voice echoed in the ears of Luo Shan and company. Yes, no, yes, it's us. Luo Shan stuttered in response. Then, he shook his head hard and bit the tip of his tongue, forcing himself to calm down. Martial Sage, it's us. Luo Shan took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. I'm Luo Shan, the Deputy Prime Minister of the Cabinet. Through my colleagues in the Heavenly Secrets Office, I invited you here to tell you. I'll explain it myself. A voice sounded. Su Jingxing's essence soul shifted its gaze and looked at the middle-aged man who had flown up from downstairs a moment ago. The middle-aged man was wearing a blue modern robe. He had a long beard that was in a short braid like his hair. His calm gaze and sparkling eyes seemed gentle, but they seemed to be able to see through people's hearts. Not a trace of his aura leaked out. His heartbeat and breathing were completely concealed. At first glance, he looked like a dead person. However, when one sensed carefully, one could feel a boundless vitality. Martial sage. The middle-aged man was a martial sage. Of course, he was not an essence soul, but a physical body. Yes, yes. This gentleman entrusted us to look for you, martial sage. Luo Shan looked slightly embarrassed and explained, this gentleman said that he has something important to discuss with you, martial sage, but I don't know how to contact you, so. Got it. Su Jingxing's essence soul interrupted indifferently, you guys can leave first. Alright. Take your time. Luo Shan didn't dare to say anything else. He gestured for the two martial artists and quickly left the rooftop together. Hello, Brother Kong. As soon as Luo Shan and the others left, the middle-aged man smiled and said gently, I'm He Sanshao. Greetings, Brother Kong. You're welcome, Su Jingxing's essence soul replied calmly. Why are you looking for me, Brother He? Will we talk here? He Sanshao looked around and tapped the floor beneath his feet. Below the rooftop, a group of people had gathered to listen to the movements on the rooftop. Su Jingxing also realized that the location was not appropriate and soared into the sky. He Sanshao followed behind and flew into the sky. The two of them disappeared from everyone's sight. Sighs sounded in the Foreign Affairs Division building. In the sky. Su Jingxing's essence soul and He Sanshao stood in the clouds, more than 10 meters apart. You can speak now, said Su Jingxing's essence soul coolly. Since you like to be straightforward, I'll get straight to the point. He Sanshao smiled and said, to be honest, I'm a mercenary hired by Xiang Qingtian to deal with you. I can also be considered a killer. After all, Xiang Qingtian also said that it would be best if I could kill your physical body. Xiang Qingtian. As expected, the old fellow is indignant and unwilling to give up. Su Jingxing's essence soul remained calm. Then you can make your move now. Sigh, if I really wanted to, would I need to contact you through your cabinet? He Sanshao shook his head with a smile. I accepted Xiang Qingtian's request. No, to be precise, his deposit. I accepted the 20 sage origin fruits, but I also killed the person he contacted and asked to send them to me. It's equivalent to me taking a portion of his benefits but not planning to work for him. Su Jingxing's essence soul was speechless. What is this? Exposing his own shortcomings? Brother Kong, do you think I'm a villain? As if knowing what Su Jingxing was thinking, He Sanshao grinned and said, that's right, I'm a despicable person. This has nothing to do with realm, it's just my personal style. I've been like this since I was young. I can't change it, and I don't intend to. You destroyed Xiang Qingtian's physical body, and he won't be able to live for long. Unless I'm crazy, I won't find trouble with you at this time. On the contrary, I've taken Xiang Qingtian's benefits for nothing. I don't have to worry about what he'll do to me, nor would he be able to find me. Although this is very despicable, it's better than making an enemy for myself for no reason. Don't you agree, Brother Kong? Su Jingxing's essence soul remained silent. What could he say? Since the other party had already said so, he had nothing to say. He Sanshao admitted that he was a despicable person. No matter how much the others couldn't stand it, they could only shut up and ignore him. That was Su Jingxing's original plan too. However, since He Sanshao had specially come to his door and contacted him through the cabinet's heavenly secrets office, there must be something. It wouldn't be too late to leave after hearing what he had to say. At this thought, Su Jingxing asked calmly, then why are you looking for me? Firstly, I want to ask Brother Kong for a place to build a wooden shed. I plan to settle down in the Unation. He Sanshao replied with a smile, don't worry, Brother Kong. I can pay rent and won't take up space for nothing. Previously, when the old martial sage was around, I'd made this request, but the old martial sage rejected it. Now that you're in charge of the U-Nation, I have to report to you if I want to settle down here, right? Su Jingxing fell silent again. The old martial sage rejected? Why did Xia Tsangxuan reject? He Sanshao is also in the transcendent grade. Who knows what this fellow is up to by staying in U-Nation? No one below the transcendent grade could stop a person in the transcendent grade from doing whatever he wanted. However, Xia Tsangxuan had sacrificed and refined everything and relied on the final power of his essence soul to last until now. There was nothing he could do to deal with He Sanshao, so he naturally wouldn't agree to his request. However, in this aspect, He Sanshao was also really sincere for once. Just as he had admitted, he was a villain, a real villain. He won't cause trouble behind the scenes, even if he did, he would do it in front of you. Xia Tsangxuan did not agree, so he did not insist. Now that it was Su Jingxing's turn, he requested once more. Was Su Jingxing afraid of him? No. Perhaps Su Jingxing's essence soul alone was no match for He Sanshao. However, with his physical body and essence soul attacking at the same time, Su Jingxing was confident that he could deal with He Sanshao. The most important thing now was why He Sanshao chose to settle down in the U-Nation. Where do you want the location to be? Why did you choose the U-Nation? Su Jingxing asked directly. Green Cloud Mountain, said He San with a serious smile. I would like to settle on Green Cloud Mountain. I don't need much space, a mountain will do. As for why I chose Green Cloud Mountain, I only know that it's very special. In the entire eastern continent, there are only 2 other places that are as special as Green Cloud Mountain. Which 2? Also, how is Green Cloud Mountain special? Su Jingxing's tone was still calm. Deep down, he was surprised. Green Cloud Mountain. He Sanshao actually knew about the uniqueness of Green Cloud Mountain. I really don't know how it is special. I really don't mean to hide this from you. It's just that I read about the uniqueness of Green Cloud Mountain from an incomplete beast skin parchment. He Sanshao explained with a smile, according to the parchment, Green Cloud Mountain is very important. It has a great connection with the entire eastern continent and even Earth Star. The other 2 places that are similar are the Dark North and the Southern Wilderness. The Southern Wilderness is also the second reason I'm looking for you. On that incomplete beast skin parchment, the whereabouts of an ancient site was recorded. The location of the ancient site is in the Southern Wilderness. I would like to invite Brother Kong to explore this ancient site in the Southern Wilderness with me. Ancient sites usually referred to ruins left behind from ancient times. As for the Dark North and the Southern Wilderness, they were the other 2 desolate lands in the eastern continent other than the boundless mountain range. They covered a very large area, and were dangerous areas that humans had never developed since ancient times. One was in the north, and the other in the south. In the eyes of the people, only first-grade experts had the ability to explore these 2 places. Transcendent-grade martial sages were naturally qualified. However, Su Jingxing had seen a memory fragment of Yudonglu. The Dark North and Southern Wilderness were so dangerous that even martial sages had died there. Of course, most of those who died were physical bodies. The martial sage essence souls were basically stationed in the void world of their respective dynasties. Apart from independent existences like He Sanshao, a transcendent grade existence who did not need to guard the void world, no one knew where their essence souls were. When the physical body was gone, the essence soul was still around, one wouldn't die immediately and would have a chance to possess another body. He Sanshao invited Su Jingxing because he acknowledged Su Jingxing's strength. If he wasn't strong, could he have killed Xiang Qingtian's physical body? How much information do you have about that ancient site? Many thoughts flashed through his mind. Su Jingxing asked calmly, if we're going to explore, we have to know some key points, right? Don't worry, Brother Kong. I've found a lot of information. I've confirmed that although that ancient site is dangerous, given our strength, we can definitely enter it. Said He San with a smile. On my incomplete beast skin parchment, it was noted that there is a treasure in the ancient site that can allow the essence soul to successfully enter soul fixation. A 100% success in reaching soul fixation was what He Sanxiao wanted. From this, it could also be seen that He Sanxiao's essence soul was not in the soul fixation realm yet. Su Jingxing's essence soul was currently in the 4th class of the void soul realm and was still a distance away from soul fixation, so. Never mind. Without much hesitation, Su Jingxing refused. I shan't go. You can go by yourself. As for building a shed on a peak of the Green Cloud Mountain, that's fine. There's no need for rent either. You just have to show me the incomplete beast skin parchment in your possession. Instead of exploring the ancient ruins, he wanted to look at the beast skin parchment that recorded the location. No matter how one looked at it, he was up to no good. Su Jingxing had indeed done it on purpose. He wanted to see how He Sanxiao would respond. Since He Sanxiao knew about the uniqueness of Green Cloud Mountain, even if Su Jingxing didn't agree, he would find another opportunity to bring it up. The first time, he was rejected by Xia Tsangxuan. The second time, if he was rejected by Su Jingxing again, for the third time, no one knew if He Sanxiao would secretly sneak into Green Cloud Mountain and find a hidden place to hide. Green Cloud Mountain was so big, it was impossible for Su Jingxing to sense everything. Rather than forcing He Sanxiao to hide, it was better to let him stand in the open. That way, at least he would know his every move. He had deliberately asked He Sanxiao to take out the beast skin parchment to test whether this fellow was telling the truth. After seeing the beast skin parchment and knowing the whereabouts of the ancient site, Su Jingxing could also head there himself. This rent was not cheap. Unexpectedly. After hearing Su Jingxing's words, He Sanxiao blurted out immediately, "No problem. I have the beast skin parchment with me at all times. I'll show it to you now." With that, he fumbled around his body and took out an old piece of black leather paper. He threw it at Su Jingxing. Su Jingxing controlled the worldly energy to catch it and brought it before his eyes. He first glanced at the grinning He San, then opened the beast skin parchment and quickly scanned it. It was true. The beast skin parchment was very old. The contents were the same as what He Sanxiao had said. There wasn't much about the ancient site, only one sentence. There was a treasure to reach soul fixation inside. As for Green Cloud Mountain, there was a paragraph with a general description of it. Green Cloud Mountain had existed since ancient times, but it was not called Green Cloud Mountain back then. As for its exact name, it was not stated. It was only stated that Green Cloud Mountain was very special. Su Jingxing had experienced this uniqueness before, but he couldn't put his finger on it. As he pondered, his movements were not slow. Returning the beast skin parchment to He Sanxiao, Su Jingxing said calmly, "Your rent has been paid. You can go to Green Cloud Mountain to build a shed." Buzz! A terrifying and majestic aura suddenly came from afar. Who? 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 In the sky, large masses of white clouds scattered under the impact of the majestic aura. The originally sunny sky seemed like the stirred-up surface of a lake. It grew restless. As for the range affected, it was unknown how many thousand miles it was. In other words, more than half of the U nation was affected. Ordinary people who were watching the show thought that it was a natural phenomenon and that something major had happened. What exactly was it? It was too far away. Although they were curious, they did not take it to heart. However, almost all martial artists, especially martial artists in the top ranks, sensed a terrifying aura suddenly appear in the world. This aura gave them a strong sense of danger. The more they released their martial art true intent, the more alarmed they became. As transcendent-grade martial artists, Su Jingxing and He Sanxiao were the most sensitive to this aura. As soon as it erupted, they sensed its general location and discovered the hidden threat. Something has happened in the southwest. Su Jingxing's heart raced. Without any hesitation, he leaped into the air and rushed southwest. "Brother Kong, I'll come with you." He Sanshao quickly followed. Although the physical body of a martial sage could not travel through space, it could still move at several times the speed of sound by circulating worldly energy to envelop its body. On the other hand, He Sanxiao's spiritual pet, a massive white crane standing in the square, could not keep up with the speed and fell behind. Su Jingxing and He Sanxiao disappeared one after another into the horizon, while the giant white crane slowly followed. Crossing half of the Yu nation, Su Jingxing and He Sanxiao arrived at the place where the terrifying aura erupted. Dongting Mountain. That's right, it was the location of the Celestial Pole sect, Dongting Mountain. When Su Jingxing and He Sanxiao arrived above Dongting Mountain, the protective array formation of the Celestial Pole sect had already been activated. A huge light barrier enveloped the huge mountain, blocking the way in and out. Inside the array formation, at the back mountain of Dongting Mountain, the surging aura was still continuing like a wave. Ripples appeared in the air as it crashed into the defensive array formation, causing the light barrier to tremble continuously. Wu Qifan, opened the entrance of the array formation. Su Jingxing stood in the sky and shouted. A special sound wave spread through the sky and ground. Everyone inside and outside Dongting Mountain heard it. Who is it? Who's shouting? He's actually shouting the sect master's name. That's right. Who's looking for the sect master at this time? Everyone, look at the sky. Accompanied by a cry of surprise, everyone wrapped up in the tense atmosphere on the Dongting Mountain looked up at the sky. In their field of vision, two especially dazzling lights caused everyone to subconsciously close their eyes. It's the martial sage. The kingdom-defending martial sage is here. Someone recalled that he had seen a similar ball of light before and immediately exclaimed in surprise. Yes, yes, he is indeed the kingdom-defending martial sage. That's great. The martial sage came so quickly. Of course. Otherwise, how could he be a martial sage? On Dongting Mountain, the crowd cheered excitedly. As they let out exclamations, a hole opened in the huge defensive array formation. Swoosh! Swoosh! Su Jingxing and He Sanxiao quickly passed through the opening and entered. After the two of them entered the array formation, the defensive array formation quickly closed and continued to envelop the mountain. Greetings, martial sage. Greetings, martial sage. The upper echelons of the Celestial Pole sect rushed out from all directions and bowed respectfully to Su Jingxing. Sect Master Wu Qifan was even more excited. He said happily, "Greetings, martial sage. You. Cut the crap. What happened just now?" Su Jingxing's essence soul, who was wearing the Thunder Dragon bone armor, did not need to hide his body. It revealed the bone armor and interrupted with a wave of its hand, "Is there something wrong with the demon's den in the back mountain?" Yes, the demon's den suddenly became restless just now. Seeing this, Wu Qifan quickly got to the point. Without any warning, the demonic energy underground surged all of a sudden. The array formation at the entrance is about to give in soon. The demon's den, interjected He Sanxiao with a smile. Is it the underground cave where the ancient demons once hid? And this is? Wu Qifan sized up He Sanxiao curiously. He Sanxiao, independent martial sage. You can call him Mr. He, Su Jingxing replied. Come, let's go to the back mountain to take a look. This way please. The corners of Wu Qifan's lips twitched as he smiled awkwardly at He Sanxiao. Martial sage. An independent martial sage at that. Such an existence had actually come to Dongting Mountain. If Su Jingxing wasn't beside him, Wu Qifan would have run away. Martial sages were powerful to begin with, and independent martial sages were almost invincible. The kingdom-defending martial sage needed to protect the dynasty. When he made a move, he often had scruples and would not offend people too badly. Of course, if he really wanted to make a move, he would have to completely kill the target. There was no need for independent martial sages to worry about anything else. This gave them a lot of freedom. Once they targeted an opponent, as long as they were not killed, no one could withstand the destruction through day and night. As such, Wu Qifan was all smiles. Deep down, he was filled with wariness towards He Sanxiao. He also admired Su Jingxing. As expected, the friends of a martial sage were extraordinary. However, at the same time, Wu Qifan was overjoyed. It was already surprising that Su Jingxing had rushed over so quickly. Now that there was another martial sage, their chances of suppressing the demon's den had undoubtedly increased. The group quickly arrived at the back mountain and entered the cave. It was He Sanxiao's first time here, but his perception was very sharp. As soon as he entered the cave, he discovered that a terrifying aura was constantly spreading from inside. The demonic energy leaked, asked He Sanxiao, frowning. Not yet, answered Wu Qifan. But judging from the current situation, it'll happen soon. Everything was fine, but the demon's den suddenly became unstable and shook violently. According to the Supreme Elder guarding the entrance, the demonic energy was fine before. Nothing happened.